I guess, a brand. Like I kind of established I'm going to fucking send it and like just like lose my shit when it's the main event, champ versus challenger, you know. So I think that was sort of the first time where I was like, all right, I'm the MC now.
Yeah.
Up until that point, I was just kind of like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it? And then from that moment on, I was like, I got this shit.
That's so good, man. I know when I was speaking to Mitch a week ago, because he used to do obviously announcing as well, and he was saying that a mental thing that he had was like he was so worried of stuffing up because what if he messes up like someone's name, for example, and then they go in and potentially get knocked out or they lose the fight. He feels like that blame is put on him in a way.
God, Mitch is so neurotic.
So
I mispronounced his name and that's why he got KO'd with the overhand. I'm like, fucking not that important.
Yeah,
Mitch. Relax, bro.
I'm just curious, like, have you had any, thoughts where obviously for the first time you were really nervous, but even now that you've got that experience, do you ever think like, oh geez, like, do those nerves still like are present?
Well, first of all, I'm talking shit about Mitch. I mean, you do think that stuff. Like it is important, man. This is a really vulnerable thing for these guys and girls, and you want to pay respect to them. You want to get it right. You want to get their name right. You want to get their coach's name right. And sometimes they don't know, but the information we've been given is their spelling errors. Like maybe the fucking people that gave the information to us spelled it wrong, or maybe there's outdated stuff on there and they've still got their old fight name on there and they didn't want to be announced as that. Or maybe, there was the information, we're just working off the information we get. And sometimes I've had stuff where they said he was from a different gym and I didn't fucking know.
Yeah, right.
And then I've said this gym and then he's like looking at his corner and the corner are like, what the fuck? And he's like, I don't fight out of that gym. And I'm just kind of like, I'm all right. I just keep going. But after the fight, I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, it's the information I got. And he's like, oh, whatever. So I do get what Mitch is saying is it's like you don't ever want to seem flippant. You don't ever want to seem like you don't care because I mean, this means everything to these guys and girls, and what they're doing is fucking scary, man. I've done it. It's terrifying, and I do know that they, for me anyway, I barely heard the announcement. I was just sitting there being like, what the fuck am I doing? This is crazy. I didn't even remember him announcing me. So, but you want to pay respect. And one thing that I really try and do is I try and feel the energy of each individual fighter that's in the cage when I'm announcing, and I try and think like, what does this person need what do they need? Like some people, they're just comfortable. You can see it. They're like a showman. They love it. They've walked out. They were dancing. They were blowing kisses. They're fucking whatever. They're loose, and that's what they like, And they're kind of like, when I'm announcing them, I can see that they like it, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna play it up for this guy. He's having a good time, And then other times I can see people are just kind of really nervous. Like they just want to get to the fight. They just want to get to the fight. So it's like they don't want to look at me, and I'll work off that. And other people are just terrifying. Like they're just staring at that person like, fucking, and I'm just like, there's no point me then trying to get in their face and be like, fight it, because they're like, I'm trying to fucking scare this motherfucker. Get out of my fight. Get out of the way. So I try and tailor my approach a little bit to each fighter. And then the same with the interviews as well. Some people, they just had a fight with some terrifying guy, took damage and, managed to win. And then they're more nervous to talk to me than they are about fighting that. I can see they're more nervous. They're like, oh, I got to get to this interview now. And I'm like, bro, you just had a fight. Like, this is nothing. But to them it is. It's like, this is fucking terrifying. Yeah. I mean, Jack Della, famously he just never was super comfortable with interviews. Now he's really good at them. But early days, I would always see that he just didn't. He wanted the interviews to be over. He's like, I just like fighting, man. I don't want to do this shit. Yeah, I'm not. It's not who I am. But now he's much more comfortable.
Yeah, of course. Is that another thing that you like? How do you go about preparing those interviews? Because obviously, before you don't know who's gonna.
I don't know who these people are a lot of the time.
A lot of the time you don't know who they are as well. So how do you go about like? Is it just like on the spot? You just kind of come up with them, or do you have some notes written down, especially for like main events as well?
No, I prepare, man. I prepare. So I mean, this is just it's gotten more efficient over time, but I will write 3 questions for every single fighter on every single fight. So to give you context, there's 25 fights currently this weekend.
Wow.
So there's 50 fighters and I write 3 questions per fighter. So it's 150 questions.
Jeez.
And it's super hard, especially with the amateurs and these people that don't have a career to, talk about previously. You're going to repeat yourself. So there's an art to like, when I repeat myself, use a different word each time. So I'm like, rather than say like anyone to thank, I'll just say like, is there anyone that you'd like to shout out who's helped you get here today? Or is it like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you got your brother in your corner. Obviously, you guys, that relationship's very important to you. Who else in your life means a lot to you that you want to thank? You just reword the same question, but it seems fresh.
Yeah.
That's part of the craft. But yeah, man, I do a lot of prep, and it all depends on the fighter information that I get from the fighters. If they give me good information, then I'm going to tailor the questions to them and have a more dynamic interview. If they give me fucking nothing, which most fighters do, they just give you absolutely bare bones nothing, then I'm going to do my best, but you've given me nothing.
Yeah.
And I leave room to watch the fight. Like, there's no point. I've over prepared in the past where I've got these 3 questions for each fighter. I'm like, these fucking questions are sick. And then, the fight, this certain crazy fight breaks out. I'm like, well, these questions are dead now, because I got to talk about the fight. The fight was crazy. I can't just be like, so you said in camp you worked with long rangy guys to prepare for a southpaw. And it's like, you got dropped with a head kick, and then you got up and you dropped him with a head kick. Like, I want to, so I leave a little bit of room for the fight itself. And I have to prepare for every fighter. Because, full disclosure, I won't say who, but I have previously not written questions for fighters because I'm like, this motherfucker's going to get killed.
Yeah, right.
There's no chance this guy wins this fight. And sure enough, he won by KO or whatever. And I'm like, that's what I get. And I'm just in the moment having to, make up the interview on the spot because I was like, I thought you were going to die.
Oh, hey, what are you still doing here? If you made it this far, that tells me you enjoyed that snippet you just watched. I know I did, but if you want to watch the full interview, just click that button right there. It'll take you to it on our YouTube, or you can listen to it on any podcast streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. Hey, and while you're at it, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future Let's Scrap content.